Everybody, we are back. It is Taped on Live's favorites, podcast favorites, channel favorites, everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at Glen Rockney for Glenn, and of course pandasups.com for TDL discount code 35% off. All right. So the Raiders are in the playoff race here.
Yeah. No, they sure are.
Raiders are in the playoff race. This is a weird time. But it's a time to be alive, though. You know, we're excited about this as a Raider fan, because you know I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Raiders a little bit, especially with the teams they have to play left over. So it's kind of exciting right now. I think the Raiders actually have a chance to maybe make the playoffs. Who knows what they do there? But I think they have a chance, man, for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's so weird because we're used to the Raiders. They're in their playoff runs, which have been what, 2 in the last decade or 2. It hasn't been a lot, but the 2 we've had have been hero ball. It's just been hero ball. Last person to have the ball wins the game. Nail biters. Not to say the KC game wasn't a nail biter at the end, but it did feel like they were the better team the whole game, and that was a good test. And you know, much can be said about the offense not doing well, but for one, they're running the ball, and for secondly, you know, look, if Aiden O'Connell's not going to complete a pass after the first quarter, yeah, that sucks. But he didn't turn the ball over, and that was the biggest thing.
Yeah,
they're playing sound football. They're and you know, they did still score 63 points like 2 weeks ago. So they're not this like, you know, abyss of offense. And this defense, it's like I keep waiting for him to turn back into a pumpkin, but they get better. They get more confident. They swarm to the ball. They have fun. They're doing like the Dougie at practice, and that stuff's cool.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think the team is just playing really hard. I think they're a tough football team, and I think the coach is really bleeding into the players. But you know, I think the defense is just taking off, and the reason is because Kuntz is matching Crosby.
Yep,
and that is the biggest part of this. That is going to take this team to another level, because the secondary, there's some solid players over there. Because even Jack Jones was getting beat a couple times, that you saw it on film, but it didn't matter because Max Crosby's about to hit Patrick Mahomes, so Patrick Mahomes can't get to the guy that beat Jack Jones, or he misses the throw, or there's another guy wide open, but Kuntz is coming around the corner, so Patrick Mahomes has to get rid of the ball quick. And I think those two guys, and seeing them for the future, means a lot to me. I mean, you have to think about, you got two guys who can bend. Is sometimes you have a guy who could like do a power rush on one side and then get a bender on the other. We got two benders, so these guys are going to bend towards the quarterback. And if we get a guy who could just get any type of pressure inside, it's gonna be tough for anybody, man. It's watching those two guys go. I mean, that was the whole Raiders defense to me, and they're young. You know what I mean? It was crazy to watch.
They're young, they're fast, they're having fun. They even guys like Tyree Wilson kicking him inside. There are a couple times where, you know, you'll see a play. There's that play where Tyree kind of ran the stunt, and I don't think they were ready for how quick he came. You see like Patrick Mahomes like, oh, and he like kind of ran, and the play just blew up. It was kind of like, okay, well, I think people are coming around a little bit on Wilson now that maybe he's not this disaster pick, and perhaps he's a big traits guy that you can move around the line. And for him, it's like you have Kuntz, you got Crosby, 97 Janarius Robinson. I'm not saying he's a guy, but like perhaps he's part of a rotation. It plays a little high, but he is fast. And that's a guy you can just turn loose when you have Tyree Wilson inside. If they don't have good guards, and look, the Chiefs, they were banged up on the O-line, but that's a pretty good O-line most times. Like pretty good. And at the end of the year, I don't know that they're playing as good of O-lines going up, and they're not playing as good of quarterbacks, regardless of how bad Mahomes is having of a year or off year Mahomes is having. They are playing worse quarterbacks for the last 2 games.
Yeah, they're playing quarterbacks to hold the ball.
Yeah,
which I'm excited about, because you know, we're gonna get into the offense mostly because I mean that's odds and bets for the most part, but with Gardner Minshew out there, and I don't know who's the other guy with Jarrett Stidham, right? Jarrett there.
The kid.
Those guys are hold the ball players, and I'm telling you, what the Raiders secondary is matching the defensive line is they're going to stop the first read because by the time you try to get to the second, Kuntz or Crosby's already there. So that's the dynamic of this defense at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a passing league, man. And these guys play the run like crazy. Like
Yes,
Kuntz is playing the run now. And like I said, before the show, I was talking about AP should get the job because Jerry Tillery plays the run. And that is just incredible. He didn't play in Notre Dame. Nobody else could do it. But AP got him to play in the run defense. So, that is the dynamic of this whole defensive line, and they're kind of just driving this team, man. It's crazy.
And there's nothing more fun than when your team can get after it. You're never out of a game if it's a one-score game. You even if you get banged up in the secondary, the quarterback just gets thrown off just a slight bit, and then sometimes you get the guys like Jack Jones can cheat a little bit and jump a route. Because it's like, all right, you want to hold on to the ball and double move me. Let's see if you get rid of the ball. And their safeties are playing well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like they're that I think they're not getting enough credit personally. Is the safety play on this team having two? I'll say it, good safeties. Epps and Merrick are good players. And so I think that's is it sustainable? I mean, I don't know. It's kicking up at the right time, regardless if it's sustainable or not. But AP really has to get this job. I mean, to me at this point, he's become a guy that I was fine with getting the job this whole time. Yeah. But now it's like, no, I think he's the guy. Like, Harbaugh, none of these other guys excite me the way that this guy already has. He's like kind of resurrecting players. He's just this source of energy. And look, I mean, Jack Jones had the best Raider week. It's a Raider week we all fantasize about. He did it. He called the Chiefs trash, picked off Patrick Mahomes, talked trash to him on the way to
the game,
and then psyched out a kid. I wish he didn't make the excuse about it. I wish you didn't say, "Oh, I was actually this guy tried to say." Nah, hell no. It's just say you should have said "F them kids." That's what you should have said because we're back. That's the type. This is just what I want to see.
Yeah, that attitude on defense. But I'm telling you, man, AP letting Malcolm Kuntz loose was perfect, man. Because Malcolm Kuntz is playing ridiculous.
Hey, man, you called it. You called it back in the day, man. Yeah.
the bend, but he's put it all together. Though. He's got all these moves now too, man. He's setting guys upside and spinning in, setting guys outside, spinning inside. He's chopping and bending around the corner, and they got to figure out a way to pay him, man. I don't know what they got to kind of look into the future. It's like, okay, so he has 7 sacks in 7 games. He has all these pressures. What would that project into a 17 game season? And if that is 20 million, then you got to give him 20 million. And I think you got to do it early because if we let him get like where he's going, because I'm seeing it, man. He's playing the run now. That means he's going to be on the field more, right?
Yeah.
He's playing the run. He's on the field more. He has crazy bend. And he has another guy who has a nuts motor because one sack that he got was because Max has the same motor as he does. And he brought Mahomes right back to him and he popped him in the head, right? So those two are about to be ridiculous. So they got to figure that out. I mean, I was like, you got to pay Jalen Johnson. You got to get some money, but I don't know. You got to get that money to Malcolm Kuntz right now because his bend's not going to stop anytime soon.
No.
Right?
Once those guys figure it out, it's usually completely up from there. I remember like Brandon Graham earlier in his career kind of the bend was always there, but he wasn't producing. And like Eagles fans, of course, were getting really mad at him. But then eventually one year, he just completely turned it on, and he's still doing it. So it's you got to. I would say the same thing. I think they have 50 million cap space right now, as I've seen roughly, but they have definitely some contracts they can get off of, some money they can restructure, and it's weird to have guys on defense that you want to pay. Very strange. Very strange.
I'm telling you, just having him and Max for a long time. Bro, he's gonna get better, right? Like, I mean, Kuntz, he's gonna play the run better. Max already plays the run really well. So you got 2 defensive ends. One, even if you don't like how he plays the run every single time, he's solid over there. And then you have a monster on the other side. So you can build on the inside, you could build on the linebackers, you could build around those 2. And those guys are gonna get after the passer. We know that.
Yeah.
And we got Patrick Mahomes, we got Justin Herbert, whoever the Broncos want to bring in. It doesn't matter if you have those two guys, man. I'm telling you, I was mad. That's what I was excited about watching that whole defensive play because I feel like they won the game. It was those two.
100%. Yeah, I mean, exactly. And then if you solidify at edge, then you can let Tyree Wilson kind of just roam around the line, use him how you see fit, put him over the weakest, smallest guy on the offensive line, let him bully him a little bit, and then anybody you bring in, that gives you the ability to go get the aging vet as the third down rusher. Kind of the Raiders were always in this possibility, this mode where they would bring in some old guy to be the edge rusher when they didn't have anybody young and talented, and they would bring in a guy who should only be playing on third downs. And then now they have the ability to do that in the future if they retain these two guys.
Yeah, man. It's big. It's big to retain those two guys. All right, so let's get into the gambling, I guess. Let's get into the offense, who has been up and down.
I'll say
recently. Up and down, right? Aiden O'Connell, he's hilarious because he has 3 games. I don't know if people in here might not be a fan of ESPN QBR, but he has 3 games of QBR over 79. Now, 80, like for a season, is like 2004 Peyton Manning. We're talking about MVP Peyton Manning seasons, MVP Tom Brady seasons. So just being over 80 is a really special game. He has 3 over 79. All the rest are under 30 or under 40. Okay. So he's like up and down. And I don't know how much, QBR is so much third down, whatever. And some of his numbers are so dependent on that, but he's not playing well on third down right now. We'll get into the offense a little bit with Adams, but I mean, what are your thoughts of the offense altogether? I mean, you had no completions over 3 quarters. It was nuts. I mean, there's some drops there, here and there. There's some ugly throws. What are your thoughts there?
I think it's weird. I can only say this as somebody who watches the broadcast footage and whatever and highlights. So it's tough for me to say what's actually happening. However, it does seem like there's games where Aiden's like, I got to go win with Davante. And then Davante's not quite getting the separation and not quite making the contested catches that we want. Still good, but when the game's like against the Chargers, he was just like, I'm going to sit there. I'm going to trust my own line, and I'm going to throw the ball to whoever's open. Yeah. It looks good when that happens. Now, the Chargers are a bad defense. The Chiefs are a good defense. There's a difference there, but it shouldn't be that volatile between you're scoring, you're lighting up the world, because the defense was lights out in both games. You shouldn't be that volatile. But at the end of the day, it's like, this is a rookie. And like that is what happens with rookie quarterbacks. And he's just not able to grab 5-6 yards with his legs. When he threw that deep ball to Meyers, which I thought was a good ball, but it was great play by the defender. I'm like, man, you could have any quarterback could have just ran for like 5 yards and got the first down. You know what I mean? And then we try that play on first down off play action. It's just that's the issue right now. And I think that's a big reason why the offense isn't that good. I actually like Aiden O'Connell. I want him to be a part of this team in some sort of vicinity for the next 4 to 5 years, but I don't. It's just tough right now. It's just tough right now because he has to play from the pocket. I think he's trying to keep Davante Adams happy right now because I think Davante's a nightmare if he's not happy. You know this. I think he's like probably not that fun to be around. No, and instead, I'm kind of like, hey, just go play ball, man. Like, just go play ball. Yeah.
And to be fair to Davante, they're winning, so he's happy.
Right. He looks happy. Yeah.
If he's not getting the ball and they're losing, he's mad. If I'm gonna lose, at least let me get 1,500 yards. That's how he is, right?
He's not he's not Stephon Diggs either, where he's like throwing a tantrum. It's almost worse. I feel like he does a lot of dry insults on the sidelines. Yeah, like where he'll be like looking at his mustache and making mustache jokes at Aiden O'Connell, kind of like nudging people and stuff like that. Like just he seems like he's one of those guys. So I see why Aiden wants to keep him happy, but it's like, bro, just play ball. Like, do what you do. You got good players. They're missing the X factor, Michael Mayer. So maybe that's why they couldn't get any police passes. But
Yeah. All right. Let's get into Aiden O'Connell real quick. So Aiden O'Connell this week, with his odds and bets and prop bets here. So 30.5 attempts, 19.5 completions, 211.5 yards, passing touchdowns, 1.5, passing interceptions. Pretty basic Aiden O'Connell. Now, my thing with Aiden is, I can't take the over on anything because he's just so inconsistent at this point. Like, he could go for 250. He could throw for 101. Like it's so volatile right now that like from a gambling perspective, it's hard for me to take a lot of his overs until he starts producing consistently. Yeah, because you have one game with 4 touchdowns, you have another game where you're not doing anything, and then you have another game where you're hit 250 yards, and you have another game like this last game, he hit 62. So it's like from a betting perspective, I would stay away from Aiden O'Connell altogether. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would go under on all of them, even pass attempts, which could be a good thing if you go under on pass attempts, because that would mean they're controlling the game and playing the game that they want to play. He's just, I don't know. I do think that the Colts are going to just press up on them, and it's Gus Bradley, so it'll probably just be Gus Bradley cover 3. So never mind. But which I don't know how Aiden's going to fare against that. But as far as passing touchdowns, it's like, look, he had a game where he threw 4 a couple of weeks ago. It was a long week rest period, so it feels like longer ago. He did have that. I'm still not taking it. I'll even go under on his interceptions, though. I think he's going to play a clean game. So I think he's going to play a clean game. And even if he has 175 yards and a touchdown and no picks, I mean, there's many scenarios in which the Raiders can win the game with that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel like his job at this point is don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Hey, Aiden, don't turn the ball over. That's what we want you to do. Don't try to force it into any coverages at this point. I mean, unless we have to get to that point and you have to drive the offense. But right now, he's a trailer. I like what Daniel Jeremiah calls it. People call it game managers, game changers. I like his truck and trailer analogy because I like that. Because right now, he's a trailer, right? So don't turn the ball over. Manage the damn game. If they give you a check down, throw it to Zamir White. I feel like he didn't check down at all last game. Zamir White didn't have a catch, right?
No.
Last game. He had like 4 the game before, right? So, I mean, like, keep this offense moving at this point. The running game, it looks a lot better, right? So that's what he's got to do. Don't turn the damn ball over. Because if 100%. He starts turning the ball over, yeah, who knows what's going to happen with this team? Because imagine you turn the ball over against the Chiefs.
No, even one time they lose that game, I think. Even one time, like in plus territory, you know what I mean? If they're in their own territory and you give the Chiefs a short field to do their little trick plays or whatever, like that was the best part about him, was just get AJ Cole on the field, got the best punter in the league, put it's weird to play football like that in 2023, but you got to go with the personnel that you have. You got to play we were always mad that McDaniels didn't play the way he played his way and not with what the personnel that he had. That's what I think we're doing right now, and I'm hoping Aiden O'Connell's not throwing over 30 passes in this game. I hope not.
Yeah, right. Let's not throw over 30 passes. I feel like he could handle Gus Bradley a little bit better because Gus Bradley does some blitz, and it's gonna be some basic coverages. It's not gonna be crazy things, right? Especially if Gus Bradley just doesn't take him serious. He's probably gonna just play basic cover 3, and I think Aiden O'Connell could read that. I think he could do that. It was more like this past game. Like we're going to get into Adams a little bit later, but this past game, he just had man-to-man coming, right? Which I don't know. Maybe Gus Bradley does put some man-to-man on Adams, and then all of a sudden, as soon as Aiden O'Connell sees man-to-man, he's like, "I'm throwing Adams." That's what he does.
Yeah, no, I don't mind if he wants to dink and dunk all day on Gus Bradley. I hope it happens. Get just I don't know. That's. He went against Spagnuolo last week, and I think Spagnuolo has seen every kind of quarterback that's ever come in the league. And guys like that who have good personnel, Jerry Sneed's good. Do the Colts have a corner? I know they don't play the same fashion, but they don't have a Sneed, do they?
I mean, I don't. I mean, they got Kenny Moore.
Yeah, and he's a slot. He's a
slot guy.
Slot guy. He used to give us a lot of problems, but yeah, for the most part, they don't.
I think
have
got Julius Brents from Kansas State. I think they got him.
Good players, yeah. They have good players, and they do create a lot of turnovers.
Yes,
the Colts do. So that is a little scary.
I mean, yeah, Gus Bradley just keeps it so simple. His team plays so fast. So, but you can run the ball against Gus Bradley. I mean, obviously, Dan Quinn, Gus Bradley, that little tree, you just run the damn ball on them. So
100%.
That is a good transition into our introduction for his first time on the show. Zamir White is making the broadcast here. Zamir White had 145 yards with 20 carries last week. So he had basically a breakout game. I think a lot of people are sleeping how well he played
Yeah.
how well he played last week because I think a lot of Raiders fans love Josh Jacobs, and I understand it. Josh Jacobs has been here. He's been a true Raider. He wants to be a Raider, runs people over. I get it, but man, White had he balled last week. It shocked me a little bit watching it, but he balled. So, he already hit some of these. He hit 68 yards the first game. He had 145. The next one, I'm hitting over on this one. I'm going to hit over on receptions this time. And I'm taking the anytime touchdown. I'm taking the anytime touchdown.
Absolutely. They all look good. Over on yards, I think he's going to break a big one, too. I think he's going to just last game was so shocking to me when he had that big 43-yarder to kind of not put the game away, but put him close to field goal range. And I was kind of like, felt like I was in a fever dream. I was just like, I was watching like Zamir White just like set up a block and just like that and just kind of, it was crazy. I was like, this is an insane thing that's happening. That's why the Raiders do feel like almost like some destiny team this year, because the minute you see Zamir White balling out, it's scary, because I truly did not care for him until like 2 weeks ago. I'll say that much. But anytime touchdown, yes. Over on rushing yards, I don't think that's weird. I just, is he a natural pass catcher? I know he had catches against the Chargers. I don't know. I don't know, but I'll say this: anytime Aiden O'Connell's a quarterback, especially in his rookie year, they get in the red zone, that anytime touchdown is in play for Zamir White all game. So take that. It's good. It's never dead till there's zeros on the clock. So
it was just weird because he never showed that vision in college either. He didn't show that in college. It was that performance, because as the game went on, I could tell he felt like he was more confident in his ability. Plus, the Raiders' offensive line, they don't get beat. They just don't get pushed.
Right.
If you're patient, you can find things, because they're not getting like demolished. They're not getting pushed back. I mean, Andre James, of course, he does, because he's just Andre James. But the rest of them are holding their own. They're just not getting like this big power push that you could just do whatever, right? So if you're patient, you can find things. And that's what he was doing. He was being patient, and he started finding holes later on in the game. And I was like, man, he looked pretty damn good.
Yes,
I don't know how consistent that's going to be, and we got to see more of that. Which people who love Josh Jacobs, they want to see that. But if Josh Jacobs comes back, especially this last game, if he doesn't play this game, he comes back the next game, the Raiders still got to mix it up with them. I think Zamir White's got to get some carries. He's got to get some play. We already saw him. He can catch some passes, right? He didn't drop the passes he was thrown to, right? So he can play on first and second down if they have to pass. So they got to mix it up with him and Josh. And, I think he'll light a little bit of a fire under Josh and get Josh a little bit more patient, because Josh, especially against the Vikings, he was just doing whatever the hell he wanted. And I feel like he really hurt the football team a little bit.
Right. Exactly. It feels like there's more of a, it just looked orderly what they were doing. And I think also any Raider fans, like, is it Zamir or Josh? No, it's, for one, I mean, we'll see what happens after this year. It's good to have more than one running back. That's good. That's a good thing when you have that. There's never a bad thing. And there's games you ride the hot hand. That's just how football works nowadays, which is always why I don't like paying one running back a lot of money, because I'd rather get, a combination of a draft pick, a veteran, and maybe even just kind of a middle round guy that fits the scheme. You have that, and if there's injuries like there is right now to Josh Jacobs, you're not sweating, and that's, of course, one will always be better than the other. It's just, it's a better way to build the team. And I feel just so much better, because I do think it's sustainable what Zamir White is doing, because he has that top end speed. He was the fastest player in football last week, literally, like on one play. It's crazy.
Yeah, especially when Josh Jacobs is a third down back. Like, if you have Zamir White and Josh Jacobs, like, you don't need Amir Abdullah. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
exactly.
Josh Jacobs, he can come in and block on third down. He can catch passes on third down. So even if you want Zamir White to come in and run on first and second, you can still bring Josh Jacobs in on third. And then if you get a first down, then Josh Jacobs stays in. He gets the ball on first and second. It's not that hard to me. You know what I mean? You don't have you could do the CMC thing and dump the ball to CMC, but CMC so much a part of the passing game.
Right,
it's a little different. But if you can keep Josh Jacobs part of the passing game, And then, if you want to put Zamir White in on first and second, that works. But, Josh Jacobs, he might be the man of the ball. I don't know. Who knows what's going on back there? So
who knows?
Who knows, man? All right, so let's get into Davante Adams, who had a great week against the Chargers, right? 8 catches, 101 yards. This week he had 6 targets, 1 catch, 4 yards. So it just wasn't the best game for him. But we still got receiving yards 66.5, receptions 5.5, which is the usual. Anytime touchdown, plus 175, 2 plus touchdowns, plus 1,300. So we're not expecting him to get 2 touchdowns this game. But, I think Adams is going to have a bounce back game this week. I think Snead was up to the challenge. I think Snead was ready for that. I think Spagnuolo put Snead in position and felt comfortable with him against press coverage against Adams, because Adams is he's not the same player with his route running. So a guy like Snead, who's super physical, can get him off his route a little bit, and that what got Aiden O'Connell off. But I still think they got to find better ways to move these guys around. And when Adams does get that 1-on-1, they got to make sure they complete those passes, because the one pass was a little bit behind him, but I still think he should have caught that, because Davante Adams, it wasn't that. But he's caught 200 of those passes. That's my thing. You've caught that ball 200 times. I know you have. You have like 700 catches. I know you've caught behind you passes at least 200 times. So that was a little frustrating, but they got to do more of that, where they're getting him on linebackers and other guys and getting him away from getting these one-on-ones outside a little bit.
Yeah, and I think he's going to find the soft spot in that Gus Bradley thing. I mean, look, I don't have bad words, things to say about Gus Bradley, because I thought the Raiders played okay ball with him as DC. I thought he kind of resurrected parts of their pass rush a little bit, but there was always somebody open early, and I think that's going to be the Adams and Meyers should be able to just sit down and kind of just anchor down in certain parts of the zone and then set up a bigger play for later. I hope that's the case. I would go over on receptions. I think he's going to get a lot of short stuff. Adams, a lot of chain moving stuff, not touching the yards. Anytime touchdowns, it's always, it's never bad when you take that. I mean, that Charger game feels like so long ago, but he did have a touchdown in that game. It was thrown by Jakobi Meyers, but hey, let's get that rolling again. I have no problem with that.
Me too, man. He had a great throw.
Hey, Meyers in the red. I'm down for Meyers Wildcat Taysom Hill in the red zone. People aren't ready for that.
No, they are not. Hey, he throws the ball pretty damn well. So
and he's physical. So I'm like, get him the ball, go run. I like him after the catch. So get a direct snap. Something. I don't know. I don't like to get too cute, because you get the Mahomes fumble play like last week, the big man touchdown. But we'll say that's just a little side note, Raider Nation. If that happens, I'm kind of in. They did it with Bolden a couple weeks ago. So
I like those trick plays with Meyers, because I feel comfortable with him throwing the football.
Sure,
he's not an idiot. I mean, I guess there was the course against us, but as a Raider, he hasn't been.
Yeah. I was just saying. Well, that was not a design. Well, maybe it was a design play, but he went rogue on that one. But yeah, and that you make the mistake once, you did, then it's ingrained in your head. You don't make it again.
You learn from it. From it, exactly.
And the guy who intercepted it, what's he doing? I mean, there's a whole thing, a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on right now with that play. I mean, that felt like tectonically with the earth, things shifted when that play happened. I don't know.
Something, man. Speaking of Jakobi Meyers, let's go over his gambling numbers here. So odds and bets, he's receptions 3.5, receiving yards a little higher though, 41.5. I guess he's averaging about probably like 50 a game at this point. And then anytime touchdown in the red zone, you never know with Meyers. He gets a lot of red zone targets. I swear, I don't know how many touchdowns exactly he has, but it has to be 7. And then plus 70, plus 340. Meyers, you just never know. That's my thing at this point.
You never know.
You just never know. He could have a big game. I thought he should have had a big game this week, because they kept trying to throw to Adams, but he kept getting open. So it was like, throw it to the other guy. Snead is giving Adams some problems. Throw to Meyers. And Meyers is he's a pretty good receiver. So, if that's the point of him being a number 2.
I know. I totally agree. That's what I mean. I think Adams was getting in O'Connell's head a little bit and saying like, I'm hoping not. I don't. Hey, 38's on me. Man, fuck him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, try to like, you know what I mean? Like, throw that up. And I think like, you're a young quarterback and a Hall of Famer's telling you that you're gonna listen most of the time.
Yeah.
But like, I do think there were yards to be had on the field. The Chiefs don't have that many good DBs, and I think that'll be the case this week too. I like the over on yards for some reason because I think when Myers has a pretty good game, like I'll say, if he hits his over on receptions, he's gonna hit the over on yards. I think like that looks like 4 first downs or something that you'd have to hit essentially with Jakobi Meyers, and I think that's doable.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna have a bounce back game. I actually think the pass game's gonna be okay this week as far as
we'll complete
maybe
some passes past the first quarter. Is that what you're saying? This week.
Well,
I think
also, okay, anytime touchdown for Jakobi Meyers. What were we just talking about a minute ago? Anytime touchdown's a passing touchdown, is it not?
Is it?
It's got to be. It's anytime touchdown.
I mean, yeah. I hope they do add some stuff like that.
Oh, okay, let's go to Tucker, dude. Let him air it out. I'm telling you, like
he has some good throws, man.
Yes, he does, and he checked down. I've seen he checked down against the Chargers. That was sick.
I'm just saying, man. He like set his feet. I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
hold up.
He didn't do that Garrett Wilson one against us the other year where he just throws it out of bounds. Like he did that. He was like, "Oh, that went my first read's now." We got to a second read. I was like, "Man, let's go, Jakobi."
Mad emergency quarterback, bro. Just because everybody goes down, man. At least we got an emergency quarterback here.
So. Oh yeah.
All right. So Jakobi Meyers is, he's got a chance to do some damage here. So I added Trey Tucker here. So Michael Mayer's not playing. I don't want to do Austin Hooper. So I want some Trey Tucker because Trey Tucker's numbers are just so easy for bets here.
Mm-hmm.
These are real. I didn't make these up.
It's one catch, man.
That's one catch.
One catch, you can hit all of them.
One catch. That's what I'm saying. One catch, you can hit all of these.
Oh, I'm taking that.
The 50+ yards. Trust me, man. I was looking at these numbers. I was like, I gotta put Trey Tucker up here because the 10.5 yards. That's crazy.
10.5 yards is right. I mean, that's how they do these young guys, and yeah, of course, at any time he could have one huge play. Now, that zone might be a little tough to get like a big home run to Tucker, but we'll see. There's always blown coverages. It happens. And Tucker would be the one that benefits from that. But also, like, man, I thought last week, just a side note, like last week, I thought they could have like jet sweep to Tucker a few times. And they like I think that's like free yards a lot of times with the when it's just like a tight formation and you do it with him. It's pretty tough for somebody to like actually get him around the corner. So I felt the same way with Ruggs a lot too. When they had Ruggs, it was just like, hey, there's only like a 20% chance they stop that for like a no gain. And so I want them to do that, and that would up the anytime touchdown numbers too. Because I don't think Tucker has like this amazing yak ability. I think he's kind of more of just like that Brandon Lloyd style receiver where it's just big play, but it's not like yards after a catch, catch and run for a touchdown kind of thing. But 10.5 yards, man. I mean, it's that's in play all game. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And somebody asked about Gus Bradley doing deep threats. I mean, the whole thing of cover 3, what they do is to stop the deep ball.
Right.
But he's so fast, he can run past one of these guys. That's the thing, right? It doesn't matter what covers they're in. If you send him on a go route, he can run past somebody, especially if they're going to play single high, because the Chiefs did a lot of double teaming on him. Because I mean, he does get a lot of attention, and he does open up some things underneath for Adams. So they just have to keep working on that. It's just they were so off of this game, man. It was ugly. But Tucker, he could do this on one play, and like I said, he could run past anybody. And if O'Connell gives him a good ball, it could be 6. So, especially if they scheme it up right too. Yeah.
I agree.
You need to get on some wheels and stuff like that, or something like that, man.
Yeah,
bro.
It just takes one guy falling down, man. You know what I mean? Like one guy falling down in that cover 3, and all of a sudden it's not stopping deep balls. You know, we saw with the Raiders, it does happen. I mean, when Gus Bradley got to the Raiders, they did not get beat over the top nearly as much. I will say he achieved what he was trying to do. That's why I do think this game will go through like Meyers and Adams just a bit more. It would be a perfect Michael Mayer game. But my guy's not. You know, my guy's too strong for his own toe. It's too big. Put too much weight on it.
I guess so. When did he even hurt that?
I know. I know. I thought because he had a really good game against the Chargers. I'm like, when did that happen? But it could have been practice. I mean, you have no idea. It could have been practice. Could have been. I mean, could have like Gronk. He could have had a little Gronk weekend. You know, like on the boat or something. I don't know. It's not December, so what do you boat? It's Lake Mead. You could go to Lake Mead. You know, it probably might have he might just be full on Gronkowski mode now. Gronkowski used to have weird bruises show up randomly.
Yeah, right. Just weird toe injuries.
Yeah, just happens. Yeah.
All right. Game line here. Okay, so Raiders at Colts. We're going to Indianapolis here. Right. Raiders are plus 3.5. Of course, Indy is favored 3.5. Point total 42.5.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make you real. I think the Raiders are gonna win this game, just because I think Gardner Minshew is just in trouble. I think Malcolm Kuntz and Max Crosby are about to eat him alive. He's gonna turn the ball over because he's Gardner Minshew and he's facing Max Crosby and Malcolm Kuntz, and they're gonna be coming from both sides. And he holds the ball out. He's gonna try to make some plays and be like, you know, a guy who wears really high jean shorts in the country. That's he's gonna play, right? And I think there's gonna be some turnovers here. And the Raiders have to take advantage of those turnovers. And that's going to be a big part of this game. I think the Raiders are going to win this one because they're going to be all over him. We already saw them all over the best quarterback in football. We saw them all over Easton Stick. We saw them all over Joshua Dobbs. I don't see the difference here. So, you know what I mean?
Agreed. Agreed. I mean, I haven't looked at the Colts injury report. I'm not sure. You know, Pittman got rocked, you know, a couple weeks ago on Thanksgiving, but I don't know where he's at. I like the under. I think this is like another kind of like 20-7 kind of game. Especially if the Raiders win. I think it goes over if the Raiders are in a little bit of trouble. And I definitely like Raiders to cover that spread. I don't think the Colts are that at this stage right now are that much better than the Raiders if they are really at all. But that's the home. They're going to be at home at Lucas Oil. Their fans will get excited. I mean, their fans will be there. They got a chance to go make the playoffs in a year that they didn't think they were going to. And so it's kind of two teams doing similar things. However, I think the Raiders are just playing really nasty right now. And I think, like you said, they're just going to have to heat Minshew up all game. They're going to have to watch out for like kind of some of those Shane Steichen little like screens and stuff. They're going to have to watch out for that. But also they've been ever since Marcus Peters left the team, they've been tackling really well. So I feel good about them right now. It's weird. It's a foreign land to me. And I start psyching myself out when I feel good about the Raiders. But I feel good about them. I think they're going to win this game.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. So Pittman, he's questionable. Buckner's out though.
Okay.
Well, he didn't practice on Friday, so it's rest. But Kenny Moore's questionable too. So I mean, those guys might play, but it's just Kuntz and Crosby. That's the thing. I'm so confident that the Raiders can beat them because of those two. Because literally, they're gonna wreak havoc on Gardner Minshew, and I know Gardner Minshew is gonna try to beat them. He's gonna try to like go around them or something. He's gonna try to do something stupid.
He'll run into something dumb here and there. Yeah.
And he's gonna fumble, and the Raiders have to take advantage of that. He's gonna throw something stupid. They gotta pick it off when he does that. They can't drop it. Those type of things have to happen in this game. Because I think, you know, when you got Kuntz and Crosby on both sides, he's gonna be nervous in the first place.
Yeah.
His clock is to be ticking. He's gonna figure out, okay, I didn't get that much time. He might bail out some pockets, and that's why I think they're going to be big difference makers in this game, and why I'm pretty confident because, you know,
pressure at the line of scrimmage and tackling in the secondary for me. It's like the idea is to not let them get time to throw the ball deep. So at the end of the day, they're going to try to dump the ball off to Josh Downs, to Jonathan Taylor, to whoever, and you're gonna have to make tackles. Like there were a couple times in that Chiefs game where they tackled a little high on CEH and stuff, and you can't really have that happen in this game, especially indoors. It's gonna be a lot easier for them to run by you than it is outdoors. So that's the one thing I worry about, and the Colts do force a lot of turnovers on defense, and the Raiders have to be 0 in the turnovers because they just don't have the offense right now for that to be the case.
Yeah, if they have any turnovers, it's gonna be a totally different game. I see somebody talking about Jonathan Taylor. I'm looking up his stats. Does Jonathan Taylor have any good?
He had that one huge one against the Raiders. I thought he had like a 70-yarder a couple of years ago. Like where it was one of those ones where it was like 4th and 1 or something, and he just like blew through it. Like I remember that. It was one game that they lost. And then last year they played well against him.
Yeah, they played pretty well against him last year.
I think in like 2 years ago, he had one just like game wrecker run against them, I thought. But
yeah, this year he's struggling a little bit, but I mean, you never know. I mean, the Raiders are playing the run better though.
They are. I've been pretty pleased with the way they've played the run. I mean, they have a guy there, so it's nice. So also the Colts kicker is struggling a little bit too. Matt Gay's not having a very good year. And I'm just saying that Shane Steichen likes to go for it on 4th down a lot. And if they're not trusting Matt Gay as much, it's going to come down to just like the Chiefs game, a lot of 4th down plays. Huge 4th down plays like that play by Hobbs in the end zone. Like I'm saying, those are going to have to be made again. It's an easier quarterback to do it against. But Gardner Minshew, I still have that last game in Oakland. It still kills me. So I would need to go get some revenge on this dude, man.
I guess he broke a big one last year. Jonathan Taylor.
Was it? Yeah. Oh, maybe it was last year that I'm thinking of. It was one. He had one just like massive killer run. It might have been last year.
Oh yeah. If they need to cheap Max and Kuntz, the running backs have limit options. Yeah. So that's what happened to the Chiefs, man. They only could put out 3 wide receivers sometimes. They had to have Kelsey help blocking. That's why Kelsey's throwing his helmet. Because he got a block. He doesn't want to do that.
Right. Exactly. No, it's the Raiders have gotten teams to not play the way they want to play, which is also a sign of a good defense. It's not so much when you have a guy that's better than somebody else on that team, but it's also, can they take you out of your rhythm? We see it happen to the Raiders a lot, where the things that they want to do, they can't do because it's a good game plan. It seems like that's what Patrick Graham's been doing lately. And then Antonio Pierce has been getting guys to play hard within that game plan. And it seems like that's why we are where we are.
Exactly. All right, so let's get to these NFL games. I got college football playoffs in here too. I make sure we get that.
Sweet, yeah, hell yeah.
All right, so NFL, we got Dolphins, Ravens, Lions at Cowboys, Saints at Bucks, Steelers at Seahawks. What are your thoughts on some of these games? Dolphins, Ravens. I'm hearing too much Lamar Jackson talk. I feel like people are jinxing Lamar Jackson. I think they've this kind of jumped the gun that he's going to win MVP, and I think the Dolphins are playing pretty damn good defense right now.
Yeah. And I think they're not going to score. I don't think Dolphins are going to be able to score though. That's just the thing. I don't think that style of play that they have works well with the Ravens. I think the Ravens have these. Look, Ravens are a different team with Kyle Hamilton on the field versus off. He came out in the Rams game and they got shredded. And Dolphins are also on the road. They're definitely not the same team on the road. I don't know what the weather is going to be like there, but it's a definitely a different climate out there. The Ravens are a bigger team, and I'm kind of buying the Lamar hype. I've been like Lamar. Yeah. I've been Lamar critical, even though I've always liked him. I've always been like kind of like, okay, but people are crowning him like this Hall of Famer. I'm like, well, let's see. Let's see. Right now, I think he's doing it. He had a couple big plays in that Niner game that I was like, man, that's pretty crazy. And they have to win. They have to win this game for them to maintain, get healthy on the bye.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something weird about it. I feel like I'm taking the Dolphins on this one just because I think they're gonna. I think we're kind of throwing the Dolphins away a little bit. I feel like they're playing a little bit better. They finally got some confidence last week beating the Cowboys. They're on the road though, but I mean, if you got to get pressure on Lamar Jackson, I mean, and find ways to force him to make some stupid plays, right? Because I mean, he can do that. And I think Miami has a pass rush, and they had Jalen Ramsey. They got those guys over there playing really well. They're one of the best defenses in the league since Ramsey's been back. I think I'm taking at least the under on that one. I don't think that game's gonna be as
I think
high
the under.
scoring.
I think the under is the play. Actually, I think you're right. I think the
Yeah.
under is the play more so than anything.
Yeah.
I think both those defenses are going to be better than the offenses that they're playing. And there might be some big plays from Miami. There might be the big ones, but like Tyreek is still, he's playing good, but he's hurt. It doesn't look the same. Tua, I mean, he's gonna have to get rid of that ball quick, or else it's weird. Like they got guys like Clowney playing well. Like they got Kyle Hamilton's got like almost 10 sacks as a safety. The guy's just a monster. So not to brag about Notre Dame players.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, but I mean he's a monster, and I think it's gonna be a close game. I could see a 23-20 Baltimore, so maybe Miami on the cover. I don't mind people taking Miami to cover. I think Baltimore wins this game though.
Yeah. I'm taking the under at least. That's what I would do on this one. I'm taking the under because it's just weird. It's a weird game because the Dolphins play such good defense. The Ravens play such a good defense. There's two good offenses. So who stops who, right? They might stop each other, and it's going to be ugly. It could be like a 17-10 game, to be honest, or 21-17. Yeah. That's why I'll take that under for sure.
They did a hell of a job against McCaffrey too, by the way, running the football, the Ravens. So like Mostert's kind of been the guy for the Dolphins. He has almost 20 touchdowns. So if they can stop Mostert, I think you stop the Dolphins more so than anything.
Yeah. All right. So let's go Lions Cowboys. The next one. This is a game that's tomorrow. I think the line is a little bit crazy, but the Cowboys are just so good at home.
Yeah.
That I feel like that if the Lions are going to get beat down by somebody late in the season, and then especially if like Lamar Jackson loses and we want to rev up the Dak Prescott MVP stuff, this is the type of game that he might ball out because they're at home. They blow everybody out at home. I mean, that's what they do. But it's the Cowboys.
I think the Cowboys are gonna win. Detroit's playing well, and Dallas, as you mentioned, Dan Quinn not great against the run. Lions are running the hell out of the ball right now. So that's the one thing. That is the one thing that I would be hesitant about. But I also think Dak and CD, they ran into a tough Miami defense outdoors and kind of a sloppy game. The Lions defense is not the same. I think Dak and CD Lamb and guys like that are going to get way more. They're going to have a lot. There's going to be a lot of points. I even like the over. I actually think it's going to be a really high score. It's going to be in the 30s, both sides, I think. Yeah,
especially because they still have a really good offensive line at the Cowboys.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even with the Aiden Hutchinson over there and all those guys, they're not the greatest pass rush in the world, and they don't have a great secondary either. That's really they're not good at secondary really at all. Most people can't even name a secondary player that they have. So you know what I mean? So you could chop them up, and I think that's what the Cowboys will do at home, just because they're at home. If it was in Detroit, I would probably go the other way. But since they're at home, Dak Prescott, he just balls there for some reason. That's why I'll go there. All right. Former Raiders Derek Carr, he's playing for the division against Baker Mayfield in the Bucks. It is gonna be this is an interesting game, man. This is a game.
I think it's gonna be one of the tightest games of the week. But I also think the over is way too. I think the over is gonna hit. I think, dude.
Yeah.
Mayfield is like playing his ass off right now.
Yeah, and he's playing really well.
I'm just thinking about like this year, man. Think about this year for the Raiders. You signed Baker instead of Jimmy. Where are they right now?
So I don't even talk about this.
That's what I'm saying. Like if that happens, we're talking about like fighting for seeding right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like truly, I think it is. I think Baker's playing his ass off. I think he's a free agent in the offseason. I'm not saying he needs to be in silver and black. I am saying if they aren't in position to draft somebody, Raider fans will get mad. They'll pretend like, oh, Baker, same old thing. Man, I'd be through the roof if they had Baker. I think it's gonna be tough. I think it's gonna be tough for Carr. He's been getting some garbage time stats, but otherwise, when it's a one-score game, he hasn't really been playing that well the last couple of weeks. But man, shout out to the Bucks because they are so much better than I thought. they're going to be. You also do get Evans versus Lattimore, so somebody's getting ejected. It's guaranteed in that game too. That it always happens when they play each other. It's one of the nastiest rivalries in player rivalries going on right now, and it's going to be wild. But I do like the Bucks, and I like the over.
Yeah, this one's gonna be interesting. I don't know. I feel like the Saints Bucks rivalry is still there. I mean, even with Derek Carr added in, I mean Cam Jordan and all those guys, they all still feel it, right?
Yeah.
Derek Carr probably just has no understanding of it. But I don't know. Last time Derek Carr played in Tampa, he threw 500 yards.
Yeah. He's always played well there, but yeah, I mean, and who knows what the weather's going to be like, but I will say that Rashad White, Baker Mayfield, they got some weapons over there. Their offensive coordinator cooks too. I like him. Canales, yeah, I like him a lot.
See, this week to me is I feel like I'm opposite anything Colin Cowherd said this week, and he was too much on Baker's nuts, so that's why I'm taking the Saints.
But doesn't he hate Baker?
See, that's what I'm saying. He was on Baker's nuts this whole week.
Okay, interesting.
It's just on his nuts. Compared him to Josh Allen. Let's compare his passer rating to Josh Allen. I was like, oh my god, we're going
That's
there.
The thing, man. That's the thing when these guys you're supposed to do. You got to go Skip Bayless with LeBron. You got to go lifelong hate.
Lifelong hate.
I don't care if he throws like 7 touchdowns in a game. You got to be like, nah.
It's mostly because he beat Trevor Lawrence. That's why we're all. He beat Trevor, who has like 19. He's like 19 touchdowns and like 18. Like 40 turnovers.
Yeah. That's another conversation.
Exactly. All right. Great long hair though, man. Great long hair.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly, man. All right, Steelers at Seahawks. Now this one is for the Raiders. The Raiders need this one. We need the Seahawks to win this one.
Yes, we do.
Geno Smith better not play around. Win the game, Geno. Don't play around. Because the Steelers really aren't better than your team. So this really is going to be on Geno Smith and him executing. He had a great drive against the Titans last week to save the Seahawks season. They got to keep that momentum up. And the Raiders, if the Raiders beat the Colts, they need the Seahawks to beat the Steelers. So
if Mason Rudolph goes in to Seattle and wins the game, I think we have to start saying, do we fold the franchise up? That is horrible. Like you just can't. This is a Super Bowl rematch. They got to be mad about this. This is an old school suit. I know the players aren't there, but the fans get up for this. They remember when they lost the Super Bowl, that ugly Big Ben rookie year. Was it like his rookie year or something? Super Bowl. I was a bit. Yeah. They remember that. I look, Seahawks. Geno Smith bothers the hell out of me sometimes because it's just like, dude. I think he's a bit overrated. I think people bought into what he did last year, but also it's like you also shouldn't be this bad sometimes. And he just makes like really, really bad decisions. And he has like so many playmakers on the team, but that Steelers offense, it carved up the Bengals last week. That was a weird AFC North anomaly, in my opinion. I think it's going to go back to being bad again. And I hopefully it's under, and I hope Seattle just stomps them, 26-10 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the Raiders need that to happen if they win, because I did this on New York Times. I see a lot of playoff scenarios out there, but I did the New York Times has this kind of playoff scenario type of thing, and really all the Raiders really need is the Steelers to lose twice and the Texans to lose once, and the Bengals lose once. So the Bengals lose, Steelers lose twice, and the Texans lose once. They're in.
Yeah, and Stroud's back for Houston. I was kind of hoping they kind of CJ, let's not get you back too fast.
I was hoping that too.
You're the franchise, CJ.
Is Levis playing this week or Tannehill or Mr. Sack Tannehill?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm kind of like, hey man, CJ, you're the future. Think about it. Think about your future. Okay, tell Coach, can't go this week. Thinking about my future.
See, unless the Jags, because the other way around is. Because I was not expecting Trevor Lawrence to get hurt. So maybe if Lawrence is hurt enough, if they lose too,
he's not playing. So he's not. Yeah, they said he's out officially. So
I didn't do that scenario because I was expecting him to play. But since he's not playing now, I'm like, okay, maybe the Texans could get in and the Raiders could get in behind them. But that's what the Raiders. The wild card is easier for them to cheat than expecting Easton Stick to beat Patrick Mahomes.
Hey man, they barely lost to Josh Allen. I'm just saying, like you You know, couple. I mean, hey, what if they win? Tell me this: what if they beat the Chiefs? And I'll tell you, this is how it happened: 2 defensive touchdowns, couple field goals, and they don't complete a pass past the first quarter. Maybe that gets done because I've heard that's the way you beat the Chiefs. Easton stick, get it done. Week 18. All right, let's get it done.
No passes. Don't complete a pass for the second quarter.
No.
Just let Khalil Mack take over the game, and we got this.
Absolutely. That's all it is. That's how you beat the Chiefs nowadays. So no, of course I'm joking. And it's not, I'm not even looking into next week. I want the Raiders to kick somebody's ass this week. And I want the Seahawks to win. Those are the 2 things I want to have happen. And I think they have a good chance.
I think so, man. All right. So let's get to the cultural playoff because we got this here. Before we'll get to the questions here, guys, but we got Bama at Michigan, Texas at Washington. What are your thoughts on this, Glenn?
I think Bama's gonna win. I think this is like the year for Michigan. I don't know, man. I heard that. Did you see that clip of Jalen Milroe? Where he was like, Bill O'Brien told him he sucks, and he was like really sensitive about it. But he's been playing his ass off the last like few games, and I think they're gonna punch Michigan in the mouth. I think they're gonna come out and just be like, I think they're better. I like the over too. I think there's gonna be points in that game. As far as the second game, I like I kind of like UW, man. Like I don't know. I kind of like UW. I even the money line feels a little spicy too. Like I'm kind of thinking that yeah, I would take the over in that game too. I think there's gonna be a lot of points. But yeah, definitely I'm Bama. I think it's gonna be Bama Washington final college football championship.
Yeah, man. Bama's gonna win that game. I think Bama's gonna win the game. Just because, you know, I think just the way Bama plays defense, Jim Harbaugh's passing offense is just so mundane. It's not going to work against it.
Right.
They're going to be able to figure out the routes, and McCarthy's going to make some mistakes because he's a walking mistake. He is. You can just tell how he plays. That sometimes he doesn't see things very well. Like that throw he made against Ohio State. Michigan fans, they got mad at me because I told them that he wasn't making that. That was the wrong read. But they're trying to say that he knew that guy was going to turn around. I'm like, whatever, dog. He didn't know that. That was a bad read. The guy didn't know what the hell he was doing, and he made a good throw. But still, Bama's going to pick that. They're going to pick that shit off, bro. You know what I mean? Like this is not Ohio State. Like they have different rules. This is an NFL defense you're basically playing against, right? So if he balls against Alabama, then he might go really high as a draft pick. If McCarthy goes out there,
he's what Stroud did. It's like the Stroud game last year. Everybody had their questions about Stroud, and he goes in and just carves up Georgia. I mean, they still lost the game, but he was far from the reason. And then it was pretty much a guaranteed top 3, top 2 pick for Stroud. And I think the same thing could happen with McCarthy. Now, if he has a meltdown in the game, which is definitely in play, and Blake Corum can't get going. If that happens, Bama's rolling by a lot. And and then McCarthy's, we're talking about day 2 pick. If that happens. No, truly. Like if it looks that bad.
He might stay, bro. He might stay.
And that's what I would do. Honestly, is probably just that. He does need a little more time, and he can make some money at Michigan. So, yeah.
But if he goes out there and he beats Bama, he's going.
100%. Yeah.
All the scouts will be like, he beat Bama, and then Caleb Williams just keep falling. In my opinion, which I hope he does. All right, Texas at Washington. I like Washington too because I just don't think Texas is that good.
No, they shouldn't be here. They shouldn't be here. People aren't ready for that conversation that they were the one that shouldn't be in this
Texas
thing.
Good?
No.
I don't know. People in the comments, let me know because I don't know if we're crazy. I don't think Texas is good.
No, they're not
that good.
They're gonna, and I'm like not the biggest fan of Michael Penix, but I think their team's good. I think Odunze is like. I think he might be wide receiver 2 behind Harrison, just from like what I watch. I know people like Neighbors and stuff, but I think Odunze, man, he's big and strong and just he just looks like he has that like Anquan Bolden style game that I think really translates and gets better at the next level. So I'm hoping he has a big game and becomes part of the conversation for like a top 10 pick or something.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get to these questions here. Let's get the Q&A going. So Ewers go round 1 if he declares? I say I haven't deep dive in these guys, but he's a round 1 quarterback.
He's got a big arm. He's got a big arm.
Huge arm.
He just didn't have that good of a year this year, which is weird because they're in the playoff. But just felt like he kind of that Oklahoma game was like he's pretty bad in that game, I thought. And I think if he does stay another year, it'll benefit him. It'll screw up their program with like Arch Manning and stuff for a little bit, but I think it'll better him. I think he's a fringe round 1, like late round 1, possible trade up guy, like where a team takes their second round pick. And I could see that being the case.
Yeah, he's a crazy guy. He's the type of guy who has a crazy pro day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where he's just doing all this crazy stuff. Like he's
got a cannon, man. I mean, he's got a cannon. I wouldn't be mad if the Raiders took him. I'm just saying, like, hey, sign me up for a big arm quarterback that can move a little bit.
Exactly. Scroll up. I have some good questions here.
I have a question at the end when you're done. A question for you in the audience.
Okay, hold on. Can Jack Jones go 3 for 3? I don't know.
Yeah, he can.
Gardner Minshew.
Minshew's gonna do it. Minshew's the type of guy to watch like social media quotes of like the team the week before and be like, I'm gonna go at that guy, like Uncle Rico in the van and stuff. Like, I'm gonna throw it at him. We're gonna win state. You know what I mean? I'm gonna throw at Jack Jones. He's gonna do it.
Here's the question. Sucks. Mayer got a toe right now. You think he's done for the season? I hope not.
Man. The Raiders are gonna have a gritty win against the Colts, and then Michael Mayer is gonna 2-touchdown game against Denver to go to the playoffs.
Are the Colts DBs good against deep threats? Gus Bradley is. That's what I would say. The Raiders are going to have a lot of deep throws today. I mean, if they get one, it's going to be Tucker running past somebody, but they got to play underneath. They got to play through Renfro, Adams, and Myers. I'm trying. You think we get a defense touchdown? Oh, I hope so, man.
It's streaky. Turnovers are streaky. So, ride it out.
So let's talk about this. I see somebody talking about Jimmy G. Is Jimmy G the better option?
No, he turns the ball over too much. If he was just kind of inefficient and like if he was just regular bad instead of catastrophe bad, which is like turnovers and fumbles and stuff like that. I'm not saying he fumbled, but a few times that ball slipped out. But he threw way too many turnovers. That was the issue I had more than anything was just the turnovers, man. And if Aiden, the best thing he did last week was not turn it over.
Yeah, because Garoppolo. Because could you imagine if Chris Jones like jumped Jimmy Garoppolo the first snap, like how the game would have went?
be like when somebody kicks over a sandcastle.
He might have completed some passes, but I mean, how many yards they would have went? We don't know. We don't know. All right, here we go. If a team offered a first for Adams, yes.
So here's my question was about this. So I'll say it right here. What do you got, Raider Nation? What do you think of this scenario? Because it's going to depend on certain teams aren't going to want to do it. Now I know one team that will be desperate. However, they don't have a first round pick. So what if Carolina gives up I'm not sure if they have their second round pick this year, what they gave up to the Bears or whatever last year. If they maybe they're top of their second or something like that, or they do a fire sale, they give you the top of the second and a conditional one the next year, where if Adams plays a X amount of games, it's either a second round if he doesn't or a first round if he does. You get both picks. Would you take it? I would. That's the top of the second, top of the basically a first round pick because you're Carolina.
See, you can't ask me this because I want T. Higgins, so
I do too. I mean, I'm with that.
I've been waiting for years.
I can just see what's his name, because they were in panic mode, the Panthers, because the owner panicked and drafted Bryce Young, and he's going to want to fix it quick, and he's going to yell at his GM and be like, bro, you better go get me somebody that's not Jonathan Mingo.
For seriously,
like, no, because it is fair. You watch Bryce Young and it's like there's parts that don't look good and you're like, no, he has like he's throwing to like a morgue out there. Like it's just like everybody's gone. Like there's just nothing's happening on the team. And somebody like Adams, I think would be tight over there. So that would be my thing. But I would tell them, like, you guys don't have a first, so pony up and I'll take a bunch of picks from you guys.
See, my thing with Adams is if he told me he was hurt, I would feel a lot better about the season. I would.
Exactly. Yeah.
If I knew he was hurt, which I kind of think he is, I'm kind of leaning that way because I just know how good he is, and it's just weird to watch a little bit. I think he might be a little bit injured, more injured than he's trying to put on.
Perhaps.
Right. It's why it might be why he's so happy-go-lucky at these press conferences, talking about things and talk about the team winning and stuff, because he knows he's injured. So that's like, are you hurt? If you're hurt, then okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this away. But if you're not hurt, then I'm going T. Higgins. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's just how I look at it. But if he's injured, then you get healthy and you're back to balling like you were a couple of years ago.
Sure.
When you had Derek Carr and you could literally, there's nobody in 2022. There's not a single soul that could guard Davante Adams. And this year, it's like people could guard him, and it's just weird.
It shouldn't be that quick. Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? But if he's injured, then that's fine. And I understand that because NFL players get injured and you guys would look at injuries and you guys will look the same, especially when you're older.
Right.
But I would want to know that. That's what I'm saying. So this is a good question. I just like this question. This is like a thought process question. Would you guys trade for somebody like Derek Brown?
Yeah, he's
beef
good.
Up it's funny you just talked about trading Davante to the Panthers.
All right, so cool. Yeah, second round pick and Derek Brown. Sounds good. I like that. That's even better. Then we don't even worry about the next year. Second round pick, which is top of the first. Look, somebody might be able to look this up and be like, actually, Glenn, they gave up their second round pick also in the trade for Bryce Young. I have not researched this. I just thought of it right now. But with Derek Brown, he's one of those guys. I remember when he came out in the draft and I kind of didn't want him because a lot of people were like, no, man, he's like, this Warren Sapp. He's just like, well, I said, nah, he's kind of just like a run stuffer, possible upside with pass rush. And he went really high. And I was like, yeah, that's not for me. But now I kind of like these guys when they're, they've shown that they can stop the run. The Carolina's defense ain't the problem. They're pretty solid. And it's part of it's because of him and Brian Burns. But yeah, for sure. I would do that. And he's going to be a guy coming up for a contract soon. So you get a year to watch him and see if you like him. And I would love it if it was a part of a Davante Adams trade.
So it's not a question, but I see a Fields versus Russell Wilson debate here a little bit. I'm scrolling down.
Yeah, that got heated. I saw that. Somebody said me and Temecula. Yeah.
So and then we got a question from my man Big SCD. What are your thoughts on what's y'all take on the Fields rumors? I'm gonna let you go first, Glenn, on that one before I talk about this.
Yeah, I'm fine if that's what they want to do. Go get him. I will never be mad. I would never be mad at it. I'm like, what is he going for in a trade? Because if it's a first, I think about it. But if the Raiders are picking back end of the first and they want to do that, quarterback. Look, if you make a trade for a quarterback, you can sell that to your fan base. It's worth whatever you get for him if he's good. And I do think Fields is pretty good. We saw that game where they lost a couple weeks ago. I forget who they were playing, where he throws that ball, a deep ball, and the guy just drops it. It was like a pearl. It was an absolutely beautiful ball. And look, with what they want to do and that kind of smash mouth style that Pierce has, I actually think he'd be a really, really good fit for the team. I have my concerns about him. I think nobody has the actual accurate opinion on Justin Fields. There's people that want him to be a certain thing and people that want him not to be a certain thing. And like, it just becomes this like narrative confirming thing about a confirmation bias thing that people seek out with Justin Fields, where I kind of just think he's kind of just okay and could be good.
Yeah. Cause you're really betting on him reaching his potential if you trade for him.
Yeah, because you're not trading for great already. You're trading for a guy you think can become great. And there's people that think he's already great, and I don't think that's true. Now,
I'm going to go to the Russell Wilson factor of this. Now, I just want you guys to think about this, okay?
Oh, come on, don't do it.
All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Man. The Raiders play what? They're playing great defense right now, right?
Yeah, no, they are.
Okay. Yes. They want to run the ball?
Yes, they do.
So, if you're thinking of getting a veteran or a quarterback to come in and you think you can run the ball and you can play defense and you can bring somebody in, I mean, Russell Wilson it might be a possibility for even Mark Davis, because even you think about that, you got to add Sierra to it. I hate to get into this because this is not like Wi-Fi Willie, but we're gonna get into Sierra here. We're getting Sierra here. We're getting Sierra. I mean, she's a part of that too, right? And the Vegas and Mark Davis and all these things. And to be honest, he's not playing terrible, and he's like an automatic 29 touchdowns. That it's not that crazy if they thought about it, and it might be somebody they think about before they go to Justin Fields. Because if they want to, they're like, oh, we want to win, we might go that direction because we know if we run the ball and we play defense and we do something with him, at least he's going to be clutch and those type of things. Because at least with Russell Wilson, because Justin Fields, he's so up and down. I don't know what I'm going to get. Russell Wilson, I know I'm going to get. I'm going to get a guy who's going to throw a lot of touchdowns, but he's going to take like 60 sacks, right? There's going to be a lot of stupid ass sacks you're going to take. He's going to be really clutch, and he can't throw intermediate at all.
Yeah,
so you know what you're going to get, but Justin Fields more as the wild card. But I wouldn't be shocked. And I'm not saying I want to do this. Okay, I'm just going to say this before I go into this. This is not my opinion. I would not do it because Russ is Russ, and I've never been a fan of his volatile play.
Right.
But I could see the Raiders talking themselves into it. That's all I'm saying. Don't get mad at me.
Let's all pretend that the Raiders are in the playoffs this year and they have a wild card exit. Right. Let's just say the thing we all want to have happen. They might not. First off, their pick's not going to be that high.
Yeah.
Now, do they want to trade the farm up for a quarterback? That's always a conversation. Teams do it. They would be in a position to do that. But they might want to go after a veteran. I'll tell you right now, man. I'll tell you right now what I'd rather do than Russ and Justin Fields. This is both. Okay. Although I'm a little warmer on Fields, I'm okay with that. You tell me that. I'm done with Russ. Russ is uncoachable in my opinion. I don't think you can coach Russell Wilson. I think
you can't. He is what he is.
Your offense becomes just Russell Wilson, and like that's just what you're. And I'm like, I don't want that. And so that, and then plus he's gonna want his own office. He's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. It's like
Sierra's gonna perform every halftime. I was just saying.
It'd be like. He's like Tiger Woods, but Tiger Woods isn't a team. He plays by himself. So it's like he plays a sport that's by himself. But Russell Wilson reminds me of like Tiger Woods, where it's just like, oh, I have to put this guy on a team, so it's very weird. So here's my thing.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins next year. He's going to miss some time. We got a bridge starter on the roster already. Think about it.
I think Kirk Cousins
is a free agent. This is all just money. You don't have to trade anything for him.
He's going $45 million.
Off the Achilles?
Yes.
100%. No, and to be honest, I think I know what I'm getting out of Kirk Cousins. And he's cooking this year. That team is battling with the Lions at the last week of the season to win the division with him healthy.
But I'm not giving him $90 million guaranteed because that's what he's going to try to do. He's a great businessman. I'm not giving no Kirk. You stay over there in Minnesota. They can give you $90 million guaranteed. I'm not giving you $90 million guaranteed.
Somebody need a Photoshop. Yeah, somebody need a Photoshop Kirk Cousins' face on the meme of the guy calling like on the phone with the dorky clothes and stuff like that, with the glasses, the bald-headed dude. Yeah, exactly. But he is. I'm just saying, and I know Kevin O'Connell's not coming with him either, so that would also be a problem. But I just think he's really good. They might have to go the Cousins Mayfield. They might both stay with their teams, but like if they're in the market, they might have to go that route. And I'd rather do that over Russell Wilson. And again, Fields, I get buying on the upside because I think you can make that work. You can make that work, and I think you can make that into like a couple seasons of like really, really good like contender play. And then I think it's gonna fizzle out fast. But like that Kirk, just buy time till you or trade the farm and go get Jaden Daniels. I mean, I'm still down with that. So that's number one for me. But they might not want a rookie. They might not want a rookie if they actually make the playoffs this year. That'll be the catch-22 that a lot of fans, these annoying mock draft raiders people that are just already doing we dropped at 16. I don't care. Dude, we've picked at 4 and sent the scouts home and drafted Cleveland Ferrell. Like you cannot make me hate draft. You cannot make me hate winning games, Raider Nation. You cannot. So they might be happy to be a chance where they might want to bring a veteran in, and it's going to be money, and they can get off Jimmy's deal a little bit, kind of unscathed a little bit, and they might do something like that.
So I want to get these 2 questions. I know we probably got a lot more questions here, but who do you think AP can bring in as OC, and then kind of what kind of style offense would you want for the next OC? Now, I was just looking at quarterback coaches, and I was like, wait a second, Brian Greasy is the coach?
Yeah, it was interesting.
So I was looking at him because what's going to happen if they don't take Bo Hardegree is either they're gonna probably bring in like maybe Eric Bieniemy, right? Maybe if AP is the coach.
Yeah.
Who knows about that? The Chiefs look like absolute shit without him. So
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
I mean, we can keep it real. I mean, last year, if at least unless you're gonna be like Juju Smith-Schuster is a difference maker, which I'm not gonna say that. So they look like shit. They can't even line up right.
Right.
So obviously Eric Bieniemy was doing something over there.
Right. No, it's
for
true.
them to do something. So maybe it's that, but they're gonna pick some random QB coach, some random tight end coach, some random passing game coordinator. So I'm like, let's just go with the guy who works under Shanahan and who's run the Shanahan offense and give him a shot. And if he sucks, he sucks. And it's just what it is. What it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a copycat league that I'm like, well, what they want to do anyways is kind of become like the Niners. So it's like you might as well just go try to create the Niners offense any way you can.
I see a couple of questions about JJ McCarthy and Spencer Rattler. I don't want Spencer Rattler, not in Vegas.
Yeah, it's a good point. Good point.
If we were in like Texas or something, maybe
Tennessee,
Vegas,
yeah.
He's just too immature. I haven't figured out if he's matured enough to come play for the Raiders. I'm from Arizona. That kid is a nut. Bo Nix. I gotta deep dive into more Bo Nix. To be honest, I like Bo Nix last year coming out. I thought he looked really accurate in the Oregon offense, but I don't know if that's the Oregon offense or if it's him, and that's the scary part that I feel with him.
Yeah, I don't know. It never looks that amazing. It doesn't blow me away. I mean, their offense is good. They have good players, but his play, it doesn't feel like there's the spotlight on him. Like when I watch other quarterbacks where it just looks all like, oh my gosh, I'm watching somebody really good right now. He doesn't pop off the screen to me, and that could be a dumb reason. That could be a dumb reason. And he does seem big and strong and fast, but I don't know, man. Some of these guys, I hope they go later first, early second, and then I start really liking almost all of
them. Right?
Yeah, truly. I just want to
Bo Nix and Penix in the second round.
Yeah, 100%. I'm in. Sign me in. Sprint the card in. Yeah,
but I mean, I want to watch more film on these guys before I just go like, this guy is this. Same with Daniels, because I only really watched Alabama. But I think Pierce, that's the guy. I feel like Pierce is so much of a homer. Just picking up Jack Jones, right? Picking up Jack Jones. If Jaden Daniels, if the Raiders, let's say the Raiders pick like 17 or something, right? If Jaden Daniels gets a 17, you think Antonio Pierce is not going to take Jaden Daniels? He will.
No, or just even the fact is when Mark gives him the job, he might be like, all right, what's your plan at quarterback? And Pierce will straight up just say, I'm gonna go get Jaden Daniels. I'm gonna go pull up Champ Kelly's underwear over his head and bully him until he trades the farm for Jaden Daniels. If Antonio Pierce would do something like that, and I love it.
All right, what would it take for the Raiders to trade up to get to top 3 to secure a QB? I don't know, man. It's gonna take a lot, bro.
Top 3 is not more, you
guys.
Top
you don't think so?
I could see top. So? I could see like pick 5, pick 5 or something like that. I mean, they could do it. It's your first this year, your first next year, and some change. That's what it's going to take. And that it would probably be a second round pick or a third, couple, whatever, this and that. You're not going to have a lot of picks otherwise. And I'm all for it. Go get it. Go get your quarterback. It doesn't matter what the price is. Blank check for your quarterback if you see that he's the guy.
I like this one, Clint Kubiak. I like it.
I'm down. I mean,
I like that one. That's a good idea.
There we go.
I like it, Clint Kubiak, because then if you could bring in a rookie, you just bootleg the hell. They're just gonna do some mad bootlegs. Get them mad comfortable. You know what I mean?
I'm down. Hey, bring in somebody from that Niner offense because they have Brock Purdy and he's the Mr. Irrelevant and they're good.
All right, this is a good question. Can AP keep the Raiders disciplined and so low in penalties for a full year, or is this just a mirage? I think he can. What was a big moment for me is when Jack Jones almost got a 15-yard penalty, and he came out in the field and told Jack Jones to shut up.
Yeah,
and bro, like, we're winning. You just got a pick 6. Like, what are you doing? You're about to give him a free 15. And I like that. I really did like that.
Also a big reason, and I do say yes, I think he can. He's obviously doing something right. I think he's able to get guy to say we need to kill people. Like he's essentially telling him that pregame, but like they are still playing disciplined football. And also a big thing, you lead the league in penalties nowadays when teams throw the ball on you and it's PI. Those are the crippling ones. And the Raiders, quite frankly, haven't had given teams a chance to throw, get 30 yards of PI penalties and stuff like that. So I don't know, they're first right now. Perhaps they don't stay at first. That's not fair to ask of any coach. It's really hard nowadays to do that. But for the most part, if they can stay in the top 10, that's good. And not too many PI. The PI penalties are the worst. Those change games.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get a couple more questions to get out of here. So, do you think AP would rather go veteran QB, being that he needs to win now? Head coach will always be walking on eggshells. See, that's the interesting part for me, because he's such a defensive coach. Him comparing Aiden O'Connell to Eli Manning was kind of scary for me, because I'm like, wait a second. I was like, back up. Hold up. No, we need a truck. I already went to Daniel Jeremiah truck and trailer thing. We need a truck. Okay. We had enough trailers over here in Raider Nation. We need a truck. Okay. So if you feel like that you can go find a truck somewhere in the veterans, that's fine. That's why I'm a little scared of Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson has the mirage of a truck. Like the truck mirage is there. Like, maybe he is a truck, but the Raiders need to go find one. And if he feels like it's Jaden Daniels, he can do that. But it's just the defense. The defensive coach mindset is veteran quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over.
But is he going to? I agree with everything you're saying, but we're talking about a guy who will be a first-year head coach. Is he going to be in charge of the draft at all? I mean,
Probably not.
Because he can't go like John Gruden, say I'm the GM. They're like, bro, you were the linebacker coach last year. I'm not trying to hate. I just mean there's just no, that would be the craziest thing in the world. And maybe Mark really is looking to do that, but I think they're going to keep Champ Kelly. I think that's kind of the way they want to do it, especially if they do end up with a 9-8 team. I think they're gonna be like, why are we shaking up the GM and stuff like that for too long? Yeah. We clearly had a visor problem, so let's keep everything else intact, and it's going to be Champ Kelly. So Champ Kelly was a part of the Bears staff that traded up for Justin Fields, right? We know this for a fact. He was a part of that team, and how much of that was his thing, I don't know. But then there were thoughts of them trying to trade up for Stroud this year, or they say Stroud, but Bryce Young probably. One of the things, that's back-to-back years Champ Kelly's been on a ownership or on a front office that wanted to trade up.
Yeah,
we'll see, man. Think about it. Yeah.
So is Jaden Daniels top at pick 5 at pipe dream? See, I don't know if Jaden Daniels is a top 5 pick. I still haven't figured that out. I gotta do some more deep diving on that. But I wouldn't go there yet. I feel like top 15, top 5 is just I don't know.
I think he might be. I think he's gonna end up being QB3.
Yeah, you think he might be, but will he go top 5? I don't know.
They usually do. If May and Williams go 1 and 2, somebody's going to try to beat somebody. Even if he is supposed to be picked around pick 15, there's going to be a team that's like, well, I got to get to 5 just in case.
Now, this is an interesting question. So basically, because this is basically a Caleb Williams question. This is basically a Caleb Williams. Will Caleb Williams not go to the Bears? See, my thing with the Bears, though, is the Bears are really playing pretty good on defense. You got Jalen Johnson, you got Montez Sweat, you got some good players over. He got DJ Moore. I don't know why he wouldn't want to go there. like the line, maybe is the line, is the organization that he's mad about. I don't know. You can throw to DJ Moore. You got a pretty good defense.
Yeah. I mean, they're okay right now. They're not picking number 1 with their own pick.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. How often do you get that as a prospect? You're kind of like, bro, like that's the Panthers pick as well. Now, look, they'd be picking at like 10 or 11 right now, but that's different.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to this, like tire fire, burning tire rubber factory or something like the Panthers. You're going to a team that again already has a number 1 receiver, has another pick to get you another one, or Joe Alt or whatever tackle or anything else, so they can get good quick, and they got a bunch of money. So I'd be like, I hope the Bears do draft me.
Like, what is he mad about? Like you're getting drafted to like a 8 and 9 team.
Yeah.
Like, what's the complaint here?
You're right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how real this stuff is. I don't know.
You got
Never
Cole
know.
Kemet, you got Cole Kemet, you got DJ Moore, you got Darnell Moore. Like, what is he really mad
Is
about?
it cold? Is it? I mean, he could be a temperature guy. Like, I don't want to live in Chicago. Could be.
It's just not that smart to me. In my opinion, I'll be like, just let them draft you because they will happily take Drake May if you're stupid.
Yeah. If I tell him, I'd be like, hey man, if you don't want to be here, I'm not going to draft you.
I like Caleb though a lot. When I watch this film a little bit more, I really do like him a lot. I really feel like he's a great prospect. You're gonna have to teach him how to play in the pocket, which is fine. But he's good. He's a good enough prospect where I'll be like, okay, I'll figure out how to teach you in the pocket, and we'll figure that out later. And hopefully, you get to that point. But he's either going to be Russell Wilson or he's going to be Patrick Mahomes. So I don't know which one he's going to be, but I'm leaning more towards Russell Wilson at this point. But we'll see. We'll see how Caleb lives. It's like, yeah, because I was trying to figure out like what is he like, and then I went and watched the Russell Wilson film, and I was like, oh, you're Caleb Williams, because they're like the same build.
Yeah, true.
Right,
he's small. People don't know Caleb Williams is small yet. I don't think either. I think people think he looks big on the screen. So like he doesn't look like a small quarterback to me. Like I just think he looks a little bit bigger. But I think people are gonna, once the draft kind of rumors and football's kind of the season's over and people start immediately moving to the draft, there's gonna be people who be like, man, he's short, and I think that there will be some like May over Williams kind of things because of the size.
Yeah, I think from his style of play, like he wants to be Patrick Mahomes, but he's still Russell Wilson. He's you can't beat the Wilson
allegations
evidence. Yeah, you can't beat it. He can't beat it. I'm sorry, dog. You can't. It doesn't matter how many times you do the little jump sidearm throw. The way you play is still Russell Wilson because it's just funny. Everybody hates on Russell Wilson because of the way he plays, but it's like the same way Caleb Williams plays.
Yeah, that's why I'm like that when I see this generational thing with Caleb Williams, I'm like, we're gonna see another Caleb Williams in like 2 years. We're gonna see one next year probably too. Like it's just it's not to hate on him. He's probably still the number one guy. I've no issue. And if the Raiders got him, I'd be very, very happy. I just mean to an extent when he got labeled this generational thing last year, I was just like, hey man, like you're gonna hate him next year because people like next year's quarterback class better than this one every single year.
Every time.
Once you start, putting the little room raiders black light, seeing all the stains everywhere with all these guys for a whole offseason, and they're like, oh man, this guy's actually not that good. This guy's actually, he struggles here. Boom, boom, boom. So it's like, look, if the Raiders do draft, they're not going to be a perfect quarterback. We're seeing it with Aiden, where I think he's actually having an okay rookie year when you think about it.
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
But still at times you're like, oh, I wish we had anybody with like 4 years of experience. Sometimes like it's just like man, like it's just like when he missed Myers on the whip route, like it's a free first down or more. Like, and it's just because there's certain things, there's just certain things.
So Brugler has Mayer over
Michael Mayer. I agree.
but to be honest, I think NFL teams who do that are stupid.
Yeah, you got to try with the home run. You got to try to hit a grand slam.
You're not the smart. Who can we send Jimmy G to? I'm still hoping the Commanders.
Yeah,
I'm thinking the Broncos now. To be honest, I feel like Sean Payton's a sucker a little bit. That I could take Jimmy G, and I could win with him. I feel like Sean Payton's a little bit of a sucker. He is a sucker candidate.
Yeah,
don't get it twisted. He thought he could make what's his name? Taysom Hill a quarterback. Don't forget that, guys. Sean Payton thought Taysom Hill was an NFL quarterback.
Okay. Well, first off, they'll be the happiest person in the world if the Broncos had Jimmy G next year. Second off, I think we got to find a way. So if an XFL team gives you 2 first-round picks for Jimmy G and you can convert that into 3 fourth-round picks, would you take it? Like if it's like an exchange rate when you exchange currency.
Currency.
Yeah, like it's just like, well, the Renegades gave me I don't know if any XFL teams. They gave me
the Washington Defenders.
They gave me 4 first-round picks. What does that get me? They're like a second next year. Like I don't know. Yeah, just I don't know. I saw you try to convince Matt of this. I like where your head's at because I want that to happen.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be just an extremely lonely road, and
probably.
Jimmy might just stay in Vegas without a contract. He might just be like, I love it here. I don't.
He might restructure, bro. He might just take like a 1 year, $7 million.
He'll be like the guy in Office Space with the stapler. Like it was like we stopped paying that guy like a year ago. He just said he'll be here though. He's cool. He's a nice guy. Everybody loves him. He's clapping everybody. Make him a coach. Make him a coach next year.
He was super hype on the sidelines the whole game. I was like, look at him. I was like, I would just show this to teams.
Quality control coach. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Leader. Yeah. He got benched and he's just so into the game. Look at this leader right here.
Oh, man.
I don't know, bro. I'm telling you, Sean Payton, he has a little bit of sucker in him.
Yeah.
Because he just wants a guy who can just run his offense.
Yeah.
Ego. We got a guy for you who could run your offense. He's gonna get the ball to the right guy you want him to get the ball to. We got a guy for you. Jimmy Garoppolo. He's 43-20, Sean. He's 43-20. That's all I gotta say. All right, guys.
Yep.
We're out of here. We went long on this one, but it was fun. It was
fun time. Good participation from the audience.
I had 107 in here today. Beautiful. So hopefully the Raiders go out there and they handle business against the Colts. I think they will. I really like the pass rush this game. So we're out of here, guys. Like we said, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. We're out. Peace.